Can you move over a little bit that way? Yep, that's it.
Because I didn't need to, I don't feel like.
You did. It wasn't centered. You went twice. I said a little bit. You went. I said, okay. Then you did it again.
No, I came back. You didn't even notice.
I
See?
did notice.
I came back that way.
I know. I saw. I was watching. You scooted back towards me. Now you're good. That should be tip number 1. Follow directions. Hey family.
Hi guys.
It's Tuesday, so it's time for another short tip. For this week's short tip, we are going to share with you some Corona survival tips. That's what we could call it, right?
Yeah.
Some Corona survival tips. As you are well aware, we're all living through this unprecedented time, and it's an adjustment period for a lot of us. Those of you who have small kids at home, you're at home with the kids, you've become their teacher. You're working from home, whatever the situation may be. Those of you that are still on the front lines, it's still kind of crazy for you now because you're out there in the thick of things, helping folks. Hats off to you for that. And we just want to share a couple of tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you got? What's the first one?
The first tip is based on everything that you just said. People still having to go out into the field and work. God bless you all. We so appreciate that you're doing that. Both spouses working from home, that may be something new that they've never done before. You know, now you have to homeschool your children. Just all of it is so new, and it can be so stressful. And depending on if you already had stress going on before all of these issues came about, that's just gonna mount up, and it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. It's a lot to think about. People are anxious, people are worried, on top of just being around each other all the time, you know, and it's just a lot. It's different. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's different. And so we have to adjust to all of this stuff, and it can be stressful. But make sure, the tip is, after saying all of that, the tip is make sure that you speak to your spouse. Talk to your spouse. Let your spouse know, man, I'm really feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. I'm stressed out. This is going on, that is going on. And so if I seem a little different, that is why. It's just that I'm stressed. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to understand this new normal. And so I'm stressed, and hopefully I'm not taking it out on you. But if I am, that's why. This is just a stressful situation. Talk to your spouse about what's going on.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you know, we're big on conversation. So we're going to say that all the time, probably in every scenario, that you should have a conversation. So don't bottle that stuff in. Don't hold that stuff in. Don't internalize it. Express it. Talk to your spouse. Let them know what your fears, insecurities about this situation are, inadequacies if you feel you have some, and talk it through and work through to get a game plan. Work together to get a game plan.
Yeah. And if I can just add a little caveat to that, talk to someone. If you feel like you need professional help, talk to someone. Don't leave all of that bottled up.
That's true, because a lot of people are still doing virtual sessions. So you can definitely check in if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good tip. What's the second one?
The second one is, because this is unprecedented, like you said, it's all new, it's all different. Your spouse is probably not going to have all of the answers as to how we're now going to navigate, like I said, this new normal. We're not going to have all of the answers. And so don't, look to your spouse and be like, what's up? What are we going to do? And don't feel some kind of way if your spouse doesn't have an answer. Because it's just different. It's unprecedented. So we may not readily have the answers for each other or for our family.
That's a good one. And especially for guys, right? Because for men, for a lot of us, we already have that innate desire to
fix everything.
fix things and make sure everything's good for our family and that kind of thing. And because this is uncharted territory, you just may not have it all right now.
Right now.
And that's cool. Don't worry about it. It goes kind of piggybacks on the first one. Just express that and start working together and be like, hey, you know, let's try this or let's try that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you may have, it's going to be some new things for everybody, some new things that we're all going to have to do. So if you don't have all the answers, it's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Work it out together. And that brings me to my third tip. You might need to sit down with your spouse and put some goals for the week in place. You know, we're both home now. I've always worked from home for years now. And so nothing really has changed for me. You're at home now pretty much all of the time as well. So it's a different environment for me because you're here all of the time now. And so I think it's really important to set up goals. Hey, this is how I work when I'm at home. You know, I know you have a lot more conference calls and a lot more meetings than I do. This is how I operate. This is where I work. This is what the kids do, you know, when you're not here. Or we need to set up a plan for the children. We need to work on that together. We need to work on our living space and our working space. Just set up some goals so that you're not bumping into each other, and not necessarily physically, but with what you had in mind and maybe what I had in mind. You know, just set up some goals for the week, and you may not necessarily stick to it verbatim, but if you have a plan that you sit down together and work out, it may just make life a little bit easier.
I like that. I mean, a plan is always a good thing to have, and especially now, for those of us who are working from home, like you said, it's brand new. That's not something that we've had to map out previously because we knew what that time was like. We knew the kids were going to be in school from 7:30, 8:30 to 3 o'clock, whatever it is. We knew our spouses were going to be in the office from XYZ time to XYZ time. Now that's all changed. Now you have to think about that new schedule and how you're going to plan for that new schedule. So coming together, talking about it, having a plan. Don't be afraid to not have all the answers. Bounce things off each other. Those are some good tips.
Yeah, very good tips.
Those are some good tips. And if I could throw in one last thing before we actually get out of here, make sure you spend some quality time together.
Oh, yeah.
Quality time, right?
Absolutely.
Still figure out how you're going to do date night if it means going into a different room by yourself and locking yourself away because you can't get out of the house. If you have a lower level, going into your lower level. If you have an upper level, going into wherever it is that you have to isolate yourself. Make sure that you're spending time together. Make sure that you're having sex. Make sure that you are intentional about creating that space for intimacy. Because that's important. And it's going to help with the stress of all those other things, right? So those are the tips that we have for you to kind of survive this corona thing. We pray God's blessing on you. We pray safety on you and your family. And you will be okay.
Yeah, we will all be okay.
We'll be okay. That's all we have for you today. God bless.
God bless.